Hello everyone, my name is Bottletophornet and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft. I've just been working on adding some layers to this iron farm and cleaning up a little bit while I'm at it. Sort of getting all the materials that I gathered from mining out this area and putting it into shulker boxes, taking it over to the storage room. And I realized that actually sitting right here, these are my last shulker shells. That means I have 6 remaining shulker boxes to make before I'm completely out. And I'm pretty sure most of them are full of something. So some of them are only half full, but there's still a lot more to be filled up with different bits and pieces. So while I didn't mean to fall into there. While I haven't yet finished building up the layers of this, I feel like for this episode, I want to go out and properly do a full end run. Because at the start of this series, I really wasn't very good at organizing myself and how I filmed an episode, and I really didn't actually manage to show off anything of me going out into the end and collecting shulker boxes. So what I think I'd like to do is resummon the Ender Dragon, fight it again on camera this time and not in my my cinematic that I made, and then go out to the end and do a full end raid, try and get myself a bunch of extra shulker shells, probably a decent amount of loot, some even more spare elytra and all of that jazz. And then with that done, we can come back here and be ready for other big projects and continuing on for a long time yet, filling up shulker boxes worth of materials and doing whatever we need. So I've only just finished this second layer, but I think it took me about half an hour to do. I actually don't know how much iron we've been getting. So this will be the first time that I've actually checked. Okay, good. It's actually, I mean, it's not heaps, but it's almost a stack of blocks. And I mean, that's only a few layers set up. I'm sure I can get that working far more efficiently. Now, I know this one over here has probably still been running while I'm doing stuff around the island. So let's have a look at that. Ow. Well, case in point right there. Okay, so that's been working away as well. We'll probably get rid of this one very shortly. But yeah, I'm glad that the other one is working. And it looks like in a very short amount of time, it's actually caught up to the amount of iron that that one's made. And that one's been running for a lot longer since the last time I sort of emptied it. So that's good. All right. So a couple of things that we need to do before we set out into our end dimension is what I want to do is actually craft up a different set of armor, because going out into the end, taking on shulkers can get overwhelming when you come across a lot of them. There are certain rooms that can have many shulkers in it, and their projectiles can wear away at your health even though you have armor on. So I want to set up some end raiding armor that has projectile protection on it, or at least on 2 items, and we'll leave our good armor that we're wearing right now back at base, because just in case we fall, I'll probably leave aerial ambience as well and get a spare elytra, because I don't want to lose the main gear that I have. So I'm just wondering whether to make it netherite or whether I should just do it out of plain diamond. You know, I might actually do it out of diamond, because it's really only going to be a temporary piece of armor. So what have we got? We've got armorers. Where I do have an armor, I swear. Up here. What does he have on his stuff? All blast protection, but I think what I'll do is buy a full set of armor and unenchant it, and then we might see what kind of enchantments we can get on there, as well as add whatever we need to, like mending and whatnot. So let's just do this. Come over here. I really should turn down this volume. They're quite loud for some reason. But the beauty of having a villager trading hall where every villager has been zombified and then cured is that cost me what? 15 emeralds for a full set of diamond. That is enchanted if we wanted to keep those enchantments, even though they're not that great. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and roll some enchantments on this, see if we can get some of the enchantments that we want. Excuse me. And then if we can get a couple of pieces with the projectile protection on it, we'll set ourselves up. And I think I'd like to take on the dragon without my wings. I would like to do it properly to show you guys like the proper fight, since I didn't film it properly last time, or I did, but it was cinematic. So I think I would definitely like to go through and try it out without the elytra on, because elytra makes things so easy as far as refighting the dragon. It's just incredibly easy to beat her. So I want to do it with chestplate on and yeah, I don't know, prove it to you guys, I suppose, that I can do it and that I have done it. And then we can go out and I might actually try and find my first end city without putting on elytra as well. Excuse me, sneaking in here. What? Cheeky. Okay. Well, I still have some work to do on this base to make it a little bit safer, but I do like that this whole area is a little bit cleaner again without the boats full of mobs everywhere. So let's go over here, clear out the enchantments on these pieces of armor. I have an entire inventory full of stuff, but that's okay. And let's see what we get. Respiration, not interested. Blast protection, not interested. Well, let's try this. That's actually pretty good. Okay, protection is fine. Now, if I could get on the leggings and the helmet, not normal protection, but that is normal protection. But if I could get myself projectile protection on those two pieces, I think I'd be happy. I got projectile protection too. Not good enough. Gonna need a little bit of cycling through these enchantments. I don't actually know whether I have a book, but I'd like to see whether I can get it on here anyway. But this is the beauty of having myself that's a really good helmet. I might just keep that for the sake of it. I need another diamond helmet. I should clear out my inventory a little bit too. But yeah, the beauty of the trading hall is I have plenty of, oh my goodness. I have plenty of levels and it's really easy for me to get more. So that's not a problem as far as cycling through enchantments if we want to. And I should check some of these guys to see whether I got a projectile protection book. I don't think I did. But buy ourselves a spare helmet from this one and check these other villagers down here. Otherwise, if they don't have it, I'll just go through and cycle through the enchantments on the enchanting table itself and see how we go. Yeah, so none of these guys have the projectile protection. I'm going to cycle through, see what I can get, try and get myself a full set of armor set up, and then we'll pop back in and get ourselves prepared to head out to the end again. Oh dear. After much trading and going back and forth, I finally did get myself the enchantments that I needed on the items. So I only managed to get projectile protection by itself on both of those, but I was just buying myself some mending. I thought, I still have all of the diamond gear that I got from my last end raid over here. Now, most of it I disenchanted, but sitting right here was a pair of leggings with Unbreaking 3 and projectile protection on it. So I'm just going to swap those over and keep that one. And there's all this stuff here too that I should sort back out into my storage. I didn't even realize it was here. I think there's stuff. Yeah, there's a few things there as well. Wow. But with that, I've got myself the 4 pieces of armor. I'm going to put mending on all of them. And then I'm going to put unbreaking on that as well. Make sure that they're all set up and ready to go. I'm going to clear out my inventory and I'm going to put away the armor safely. And then I think we're going to get ourselves ready and make sure everything's cleared up. We've got, yeah, I might set up that elytra as a spare elytra as well, so we don't have to risk aerial ambience. I'll clear out this, got plenty of fireworks, and then we'll get on our way. So give me a second to get all that armor set up. I'm going to be downgrading to diamond again, but it'll be worth it for the trip and the safety. And then we'll gather up some crystals to re-summon the dragon, because I've got that down packed now that I've done that that permanent crystal up above, and we'll head off to the end. So give me a moment to set that up, and then we'll be on our way. All right. So I got my shield. I've got my new set of armor. 2 pieces have projectile protection, and then I just got normal protection on the others. So we'll put that on. Back to the diamond armor. But I want to do it traditionally. I don't want to go and fight the dragon with the elytra, because I didn't show me properly fighting it last time. So it'll be worth it to try it out with just the armor on film. So I think... Oh, I missed the staircase. I think I'm all prepared. What I have is a bunch of food, some fireworks. I've got some blocks for when we go out to the end to start looking for our end island. I want to collect a bunch of the dragon's breath while I'm fighting the dragon again. I've got galaxy flow, which will be good for the looting 3 to try and get as many shulker shells as I can. I just grabbed one of the spare netherite pickaxes and I've got my bow. So I think with that, we're pretty much good to go. I got to remember that I can't fly right now because I don't have elytra on. So we're going to head in here, and I just realized as I was going through there that I forgot to bring crystals. So back to base. But that'll be a good opportunity to show some people, if you might not know how to recreate the end crystals to resummon the dragon, I'll show you how to make it. So what you need is... Actually, I might grab a stack of this just so I have some. You need 4 end crystals, ender pearls. You need to turn them into, if I have any available, eyes of ender, like so. You need some glass. I don't know whether that's quite enough, and some I don't have enough obsidian either. And my redstone box. It's all working out. Hold on just a second. You sort of forget how slow you go in water without the depth strider. My goodness. Okay, good. I do have obsidian. So I think I'm definitely going to need some more glass, but the way you make it... Oh my goodness. I am so mistaken. You need gas tiers. I don't have enough gas tiers. Oh no. Why was I thinking that you used eyes of ender? Okay. We'll put those away for now. I'll get myself a few more pieces of glass, and then it looks like we're putting the elytra on for a moment and going ghast hunting. Oh dear. I tell you that I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I completely make the mistake. So, with a bit of luck... Why does it still not have the recipe? Huh? Is it both? Is it Eye of Ender and... It is! Ah. Why did I think it was obsidian? Okay, so I knew there was an Eye of Ender in there. Well, we can make 2 end crystals. I can get rid of that obsidian because I do not need it. We'll put the end crystals in here for now, just so they're safe. And we'll head out and see whether we can get ourselves 2 more gas tiers. Probably should have checked the recipe to make sure that I knew what I was talking about before I started filming. But that's okay. I sort of like that you guys are here for the failures as well as the successes. So if we head over here, I know I have this, what do they call it? Soul Sand Valley. And I'm pretty sure it's more likely to spawn ghasts than other biomes. So if we just fly around this place, we should be able to hear soon enough. I did hear one somewhere, but I don't know where he is. There it is. So if we just take him out with the looting sword, we should... Wow. Okay. Well, to be fair, since I'm already here, I may as well fly around a little bit more and see whether I can get a couple more. Build up a decent supply, just in case I want to do a couple more dragon fights in the future. And since we're already in the mode for fighting, we may as well do what we can while we're here. Oh, that's a fancy skeleton. I almost want that in my base. Or maybe it's just not going to spawn another ghast anywhere. Oh, I hear one. There you are. I do want to get into the air to hit it. If you just drop down a smidge. Hey. There we go. Hopefully that doesn't fall into... Cool. Oh, that's a dangerous situation. Oh my goodness. I forget that I'm not wearing my good armor. I should probably make sure that I'm not... Ah, that's alright, my health is coming back. Somehow we ended up out where my guardian farm portal is, but that's okay. We can heal back up and head back to base. I want to clear out my inventory again, but wow, it's amazing how quickly you die when you're not wearing quite as good armor as you're used to. Whew, that'd be just right after spending all that time setting up that armor and getting it prepared to just lose it in some fire in the middle of the nether. And maybe even nearly kill myself by running into the the fountain here. Okay, so we'll take this elytra off, swap it over with the chest piece again, and then come over here, make 2 more end crystals, and I'm just going to put the other gas tiers away. We can clear out our inventory of these things, keep the ender pearls, and now if I just do a quick scan over, I think we're good to go. So still got plenty of rockets, and I've got more in the ender chest. Why do I only have 3 end crystals? I did not make enough, apparently. It's one of those things that I hope isn't super obvious on camera, but once I go to edit this up, I'm probably going to see it and wonder how I thought I had it all. Make 2 more end crystals, but it's okay. So with that, I think we're ready now to head out properly to fight the Ender Dragon. So with crystals in hand, let's head to the stronghold. And it's times like these that really make me aware of how convenient elytra are, because flying to the stronghold with elytra is so quick. But here I am sprinting away for hundreds of blocks to try and get over to the stronghold. Even though it's obviously a lot quicker in the nether than it is in the overworld, it still feels so slow when you're used to, you know, just flying everywhere with the elytra. Back to the primitive days of no wings, no flight. Okay, so while it's a familiar sight for me, and this is where I stood in, I think it was episode 7, that I was going to fight the Ender Dragon for the first time. It feels like so long ago, but we're going in a little bit different of a way. Pop into the end. Gee, that was a bit scary. Hello? Okay, so we're going to be careful because I need to remember that I cannot fly right now. Ooh, imagine that. I fall off the edge and lose everything. Now, I'm not bringing myself any slow falling potions, so we're just going to deal with the situation as it is. This here is actually the arrow that I put for to help me remember which was the first one to respawn its crystal, which is how I actually got the end crystal off. At the end of the episode, I might see whether I can get the footage that I have of me moving that, and I'll show you it in progress in moving the crystal itself, because I did record it with the replay mod. But you can see some leftovers of me moving it, the items that I used, a lot of netherrack and pistons and redstone and such. So, okay, I'm wasting time now. Essentially, if you haven't done it before, the way you resummon the Ender Dragon is you place a crystal in the middle of each side of the portal in the center of the island. So we're going to get into this fight. We're going to take on the lady herself, the big girl, and I'm going to do my best to try and, I don't know, commentate through it. I'll see how I go. There'll probably be moments where I keep fairly focused, but I think I'll try and keep minimal editing just to show you what's going on, but we'll see what happens when I actually get to the editing stage. So, why do I feel nervous? Okay. One there. One there. One there. And now, as you can see, there's still that glitch where if I look away from the crystals, the beams disappear. But as you can see, that was the first one that went, which is why I have that marked. But as this goes through, resummons all the portals, the crystals on top of the towers. You should get an Ender Dragon, right? Yeah. There it is. Okay. Well, we got an achievement. That's fun. I'm going to destroy most of the crystals, and then I'm going to try and let her hit me a couple of times with the... that was low. With this. Oh, I might get my stuff out. I've got my particles turned down just so that it doesn't lag my game too much. So it might look like there's not much breath there, but she's definitely using it. Oh, try and avoid these... oh god. I gotta remember that I'm not wearing my normal armor. So I do need to be careful. Oh my goodness. Well, that was about as close a call as I could have imagined. Oh, see, this is why I was nervous. I was right. Good pessimistic attitude. Oh, goodness. Alright, we'll try and heal up, get ourselves back into a better state. That was extremely close. If I didn't have feather falling, I would have 100% died just then. Whew, close call. I've gotten so complacent with my Enderman at the base that I don't even think about the fact that I might accidentally look at a bunch of them and they could be dangerous. Okay. So let's get up here and try and do a little better of a job at avoiding eye contact while we destroy these crystals. Did that blow up? I can't be sure. I think it did. Okay, so she's coming down for a perch. I'm going to use the time to destroy the crystals without her causing any problems to me. Like so. Oh, wow. Why are you looking at me like that? Did you see that? He was just so focused on me.
Hi, how are you?
What the heck? Alright. It's one of the things that I would like to, in a later date, we're probably going to do a bunch of, tries at this dragon, taking her on and destroying her a fair few times, just so that we can open up a lot of the... I swear she just shot, but I don't know where to. We're going to try and open up all 20 of the portals that happen around. Of course, I looked at an Enderman again. Come here. Okay. It's hard to gather the breath while you can't really see the particles that well, but at the same time I want to be careful that I don't get injured. And I also want a little amount of lag. I don't want it to lag too much. I think I keep nearly looking at these Endermen. It's terrifying. Now I'm on edge because of how that happened. So I might see if you aim for the, just like that, for the inside edge of that, of the cage, it's pretty easy to destroy the cage crystals without having to tower up and open up the cage. So just like this, try and aim just inside there. Watch out for the breath, of course, but we're getting a decent supply as well, which is good. If I can fill up all of these bottles that I have, that's like about 100, so I'd be pretty happy with that amount. We already got 55, which is good. Again, just spending some time. May as well let her shoot me as much as I can get her to shoot me before I start attacking her properly. And the beauty of it is it also helps you stop getting injured by the dragon's breath at the same time, which is obviously very handy. That's a bit low, I think. Oh, it's super low. My depth perception is way off, apparently. There we go. So, if I'm right, it looks like the only crystal left is probably that one up there. See whether I can hit it a bit higher. Unfortunately for me... Ooh! That damaged her somehow. So maybe that's it? We'll keep an eye out, see whether any more beams attach to her. And if they don't, basically we can go into the middle, hit her in the head when she gets down low. I've got my water bucket, even though I have never really tried to MLG water, but if I do get launched into the air, there's the option to use that or an ender pearl. Here she comes. So I'm going to wait until she gets down. Actually, I might get right underneath her before she does. And then basically aim for the head. You can get more damage. Why is she disappearing? Okay. That's a terrible glitch to have when trying to fight the Ender Dragon. And I don't know whether these Endermen were after me or her. I think they're just after her, but I could hear them. Huh. I don't know why she went invisible. That's frustrating. Unfortunate, actually. It's probably a similar thing to how the end crystal beams don't work with this Optifine, like when you're not looking at them. So she obviously disappears when she's not quite on my screen, which is frustrating for recording purposes. But we'll try and get a couple of shots as she comes down here. We can obviously do a lot of damage with this bow. And we'll try and get in here like this. I'll just hit her body because, oh wow. Because as we could see, when I try and look at her head, it doesn't work. Doesn't like me looking directly at her head. So we'll go for the body shots just so that I can see what I'm doing. And I think couple more shots from her with the dragon's breath will be just about enough to fill up my all of my containers, all my bottles. Go on, shoot me one more time. Oh, we'll see. We'll see whether she dies this round. I doubt it though, since I'm going for body shots. Oh, I can't see her. That's really... Wow. That makes things really difficult. Ah, what an unfortunate glitch to be getting in the middle of a dragon fight. Try and heal up. That was really close. Whew. No, oh, I really could just use your... I could really just use you not fighting me right now, please. Whew. Alright. We're going for the feet this time. No, we're not. Wow, she did not stay there for long at all. Not exactly how I imagined this dragon fight going. I was really hoping for a smoother experience, but a couple of glitches. At least we haven't quite died, even though we have had two very close calls. I'll grab as much of this as I can. Come on. Just one or two more shots, please. Oh, really? Thankfully, I did bring the shield. It was definitely a good choice to do that. Because I would be dead many times over right now if I hadn't. Why are you so far away? Wow, my aim is terrible. I'm on edge. Too many glitches and whatnot for my liking. Oh. Wow, yeah, see what I say? I definitely have not practiced the MLG waters, so not the best at that. I think I might have got one before, luckily, which might have saved me. But maybe I should do some practice for the more serious times like this. At this stage, it looks like it might just be a bow finish. Or like that. That'll do. Whew. Not exactly as smooth as I had hoped. I really did want that to be a nicer experience than it was. That glitch of not being able to see her and losing track of her moving around. I couldn't see her wings or anything, or where her head was, so that did make things difficult. But, I mean, we're alive, barely. There's a couple of very close calls there, but I don't know, it's entertaining. So, where did our next... There it is. Let's see what it looks like as far as being over the... it looks like it might be over the edge. So we're going to have to make a little platform. Oh no, good. Okay, well that one's good. Easy enough for us to pillar up to. And yeah, we did alright with the Dragon's Breath. What's that, 97? Cool. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to just go straight out to the end and get on to our end raid. I'm a little bit more comfortable out there. That dragon fight was far more sketchy than it should have been. Why did that not work? There we go. Oh, apparently that's the first time I've gone back out since I lost all my achievements. Oh, wow. So that's how you find end cities. See, it's easy. If anyone ever has problems, I don't know why, because, you know, YouTuber luck. I have on camera the fact that I just came out here and arrived like that. Might grab a couple of these chorus flowers while I'm standing on them. Like, why not? And let's head on over to our first end city. Now, because it's not one with a ship on it, we're not going to get elytra. So I am going to continue my adventure after going to this one by going on foot. But once we find a ship, I'm going to chuck it on because you will get the idea by that point. And we'll fly around and do a bit of an end raid, see what we can do. So I just want to see how much damage. Okay, good. So projectile protection is your friend up in the end. Definitely makes a huge difference as far as the damage you take from these guys. Wow, of course, I'm going to get a bunch of achievements. But there we go. Shulker shell. Number 1. I hope to get a fair few stacks, so this could be quite an adventure. It's one of those things that once you're out in the end, it's really worth preparing and having a bunch of food spare and even more in your in your ender chest, as well as having prepared enough rockets to do quite an adventure out in the end. Because once you're out here, stay out here. Do as much work as you can to get as many shulker shells as you want. I think the first time I ever came out to the end, like the first time I ever beat the Ender Dragon, I spent probably 6 hours and got enough shulker boxes to last me forever, basically. And I'm just going to grab a couple of the things. I'm not really concerned about getting much of the armor or anything like that. I'm more interested in just the iron, gold, and diamonds, and then from there we can leave most of the other stuff behind. Oh, got to remember that I don't have elytra on. You get a little bit complacent when you've been wearing them for so long. There we go. We start our little progress towards getting up a decent supply. Now, while I'm up here, if you are on Java and you have the ability to on your computer, it's worthwhile to up your render distance if you're looking for... Let me just focus up and hit these shots. Oh, of course. Oops. Yeah. Also remember that you're not wearing elytra. That was a terrible throw. But as I was saying, it's a good idea to turn your render distance up if you can, if your computer can handle it. It'll help you... Oh, where is he? Did he move again? Or have I just forgotten where he was? Maybe he's dead? Just looking at my subtitles to see whether or not I can see. Also, man, I'm bouncing around like between topics like crazy. So render distance is one thing. You can up the render distance. It'll help you see if you just stand still and let the chunks load. It'll help you find some cities if they're within render view. The other thing is getting down here if you don't have any pearls left on you or you don't have elytra, is you can walk down by holding, basically hugging the wall. I did a bad example there, but you can use those end rods to get down from the top of these areas quite easily without taking as much damage. So another little tip for you. Well, I can't hear the shulker anymore, so I must have killed him as I was falling with the bow. So I don't know why I came down to the bottom. I think it was just because in my mind I was demonstrating. We'll pop up the top again, up my render distance, and see whether we can see another city from here. So video settings, we'll up the render distance to 40. Sure, that'll do. And I'm just going to sit here for a minute, let those chunks load out. Oh, wow, that was a huge freeze in my game. Obviously, it can be fairly stressful on the system, but if you just pause your game like so, let it load, walk away from the computer for a couple minutes, or take a break on your phone, and as you can see in the distance behind, it's loading out the chunks. So I'm going to let that happen, see whether we can find a city somewhere, and then we'll move on to that. Yeah, definitely getting some decent view distance here. So a couple more minutes of this, we might get lucky, and hopefully see a ship in the distance. Oh, There we go. That looks like it doesn't have a ship, but it might be hidden further in the distance. But that's a perfect example of how setting your render distance high can help you find your next end city. Just can't quite tell whether there's one behind that. It might not be, but we'll head over there as well. That's a good next point to get to, and we can loot that for all its shulkers, see whether it has a ship on it. If it doesn't, standing up the top of there and doing this same trick by loading up a bunch of chunks and getting a good view distance going can help us find that. If you can't, you still will have luck by just picking a direction and eventually you will find one. But this is definitely a lot less stressful of a way to do it. As you can see, there's still chunks loading out there in the distance, especially when I zoom in with Optifine. So it's one of those things that once I get over to that end island over there and get myself into that city, we're going to have an easy time looking for more. So let's head over in that direction. We'll do a bit of a run across there and move on to our next city after that. This is the reason why I brought these blocks, just so that I could bridge across the gaps and get myself close enough to throw an ender pearl. So just holding down shift for dear life and then trying to get close enough so that I can travel across the gap. Obviously, once you get your elytra, that becomes basically not necessary anymore, but it's always worth having a few stacks of blocks as you come into the outer end, just so you can do stuff like that and not have to mine it up from all the end stone that's around here. What is it? End stone? What's it called? Yeah, end stone, of course. Now I'm pretty sure I'm still heading in the right direction. Obviously, it's one of those things where as you do sort of leave it, oh, good. It's sometimes hard to remember your direction, so it's worth checking your coordinates every now and again if you can. Or if you're lucky enough to have a computer that can handle having the render distance set super high the whole time, then it's a lot easier to find your way here. So this is a decent sized city. We should get hopefully a decent little supply of shulker shells from it. But as we get closer, yeah, it definitely looks like it doesn't have the end ship on it. So that means no elytra. We're going to have to go on and continue till we find another one that does. And then it's going to be a whole lot easier from that point on to continue exploring. So I'm going to head slowly up through here, try to avoid as many of these bullets as possible because it's a bit frustrating sometimes. I go ahead and get hit straight away after saying that. But especially when you don't have an elytra, it can be really frustrating as you're trying to get around without dying, but it's not too bad. But moments like that definitely make things difficult. Sometimes you just got to place yourself underneath a block and wait until it runs out, spend the time to organize some things, and we get ourselves some shells. So it is going to be a long process. I think what I'm going to do is see if I can find myself a city that has the ship on it so I can get some elytra. And from there, I'll probably stop the episode since this is already running quite long. And we'll go and get myself off camera, basically just do all of the end raid. It's times like this where I do wish that I could live stream, because it'd be something that'd be great to hop onto stream and do with people and chat, but hopefully in the future that'll be something that I can do. Having the projectile protection is absolutely worth it in this situation though. I can actually switch over. I think it's like this. Actually, I think I need to go that way. If you have a looting sword in your hand, but shoot at the same time, you're more likely to, you still get the looting effect, I should say. So as you can see, both of those luckily dropped. Oh, he went outside, but they dropped their shulker shells. So being Java, you can have anything in your offhand. So I just press F to switch between them, keep Galaxy Flow in my main hand, and then I can shoot with the bow in the other. Like, wait till it opens. Come on. He's a bit glitched, I think. There we go. So 3 for 3. That was pretty lucky. I'm just going to ender pearl down here so I don't have as large a drop before the effect wears out. See whether we got any decent stuff in the chests. Most of it's just not worth me taking. I'm going to take... Oh, that's worth it. I'm going to take the saddles and stuff just because it's something that I like to... they're nice too. It's something that I like to just grab and keep. I don't know why I barely ever have myself set up with horses or anything like that. but it's just about time for us to start getting some shulker boxes and actually storing stuff in there. So what I tend to like to do is make a shulker box that has all the blocks, because I like to keep them, build up a little supply. So anything that's like from the buildings themselves, I put in one shulker box. So that's essentially all that I would take, maybe some other potions. And then I would grab a second shulker box for valuables. So something like this, store those away, and then we have ourselves a little bit of a organized system. So when I go into my inventory, say they're all sitting up in here, I can see from hovering over that with my mouse that, yeah, that one's got the blocks in it, this one's got my valuables. And depending on how much raiding I do and how much stuff I pick up, like I may as well grab that, to be fair. That's not what I intended to do. I can just put the armor in there and leave it as that. But with how good that projectile protection is working on this armor, I feel pretty confident. Oh no. That was a perfect time to successfully do an MLG water. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of myself with that one, to be perfectly honest. That was a clutch moment. For some reason, I spent so much time with elytra on that I did completely forget again. And I just thought, oh, I'll float across that gap there, and leapt without thinking. Oh dear. We'll just use the pearls. These rooms are the best, in my opinion, because I'd like to grab the end chest, just so that I have a bunch of spares that I can keep in storage, and it allows me to put them down in different places whenever I go somewhere new. It's really convenient to be able to open that up and grab like a stack of chests. I keep one in my inventory at all times, but being able to get in there and pick up another one to put down is always super convenient. So we'll grab that, kill this guy here, and start to build up our supply of shells. So I'm going to make my way to the top of this. We're going to kill all the shulkers we can find as we go up, and then from there I'll put up my render distance again and see whether we can actually find another city in the distance. Man, I'm so bad at traversing without my elytra. That's ridiculous. Let's try something like this. Lovely. So I'm going to continue my way up here, and we'll see what happens when we get to the top. So now that I've made my way up here, I've set my render distance to 48. We're just going to let this load in again while I chill up here. Oh, accidentally shoot. I got to remember that I've got that in my other hand. But if we look back that direction, we can see the original one that we found. So we know that it's worthwhile to look out these ways to see whether any of these islands actually have anything on it. So for me, using the zoom function on Optifine just does speed up the rendering in the place that I'm looking. So I'm just holding down the C button to zoom in and seeing whether I can get anything to load in a direction where I can see, or in a distance, I mean, that I can see. But one thing that we can tell from up here is, as you can see from here on out, it's loading obviously new chunks and islands. But on that side there, it's completely empty. It's the void. So the end island actually spawns in the center of a large void, and then about 1,000 blocks or so in a large circle around the island where the dragon is. That's where all of these islands start to spawn. So we can tell that we're on the edge of that spawning zone, and it sort of does curve, like you can see that one's a little bit further. It curves like this in a large circle around it. So that means that if I want to find more end islands, I could continue to run around the edge, but I'm just going to keep running into the spots like that where you can see the gateways are going to spawn. And we're going to load things up that we're eventually going to find anyway by fighting the Ender Dragon more and getting more end gateways. So for me, I'm probably actually better off heading out that direction, which is south. So completely south, and that way I'm going to be loading infinitely new islands out that direction, and I'm not going to have more of these, base stuff happening. I might find new islands, but it does ruin it for future me in a way, where if I was coming out later on in sort of end game needing more shulkers, it'd be nice to be able to spawn at one of those and have a bunch of fresh new stuff nearby. This way, if I go out that direction, I'm not loading up end cities that might be easy to access in the future, and it means that I've got infinite possibilities out that direction. So since I haven't had any luck seeing another city from this vantage point, I'm going to head that direction, hard south. We're going to go across, see if we can get onto this bunch of islands and head in that direction. And then I might maybe tower up if I don't find one once I get to about there, and do this same trick where I expand my view distance and see what I can see. And right now, since I spent the time to actually load the chunks, and, you know, there's not a lot to load in the end. It's sort of like it is a void in most cases, and then it's very basic terrain. It doesn't seem to be lagging too much for me. I'm still hitting about 40 FPS, which obviously isn't ideal as far as like filming, but for myself running across there, I'm just going to leave the render distance high and see whether I can find anything, and then I can turn it back down when it comes to filming the next clip. So if you've got a decent computer, mine's not bad, you can probably run around with a high render distance and actually manage to find the cities a lot easier. That wouldn't work if you're on a server necessarily, because servers tend to have their own locked render distance. That it doesn't matter if you turn up your render distance on your PC itself, it's locked by the server itself. So keep that in mind if you're playing with friends on a server. But if you're playing single player like me, it's definitely very handy. Well, there's another one, but again, no ship in sight. Back this direction, just out of render view, is the last city that we were at. And I think it's not worth me trying to continue this self-set sort of challenge of trying to find the ship without actually having elytra, because, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've gotten my point across, and in reality, this episode could go on for an hour if I wasted any more time. So what I'm going to do is pop in here, grab my elytra, and put away some of that. I think I had 12 left. I'll have to check later on. And with that, we're going to hit the skies. We're going to fly over there. I'll actually turn down my render distance because it does lag a little bit. So we know where that is. And then I can continue on like this, making my way over the void in a lot easier fashion. What I might quickly do is once I get to here, so I'll just turn my render distance back up and see whether we get lucky. This is going to hitch for a bit, take a little bit to load. But, wait, come on, that's got to have a ship, it's huge. Yeah, it looks like, okay. So as you can see, that little archway and a ship. So maybe if I'd been just a little bit more patient, I would have been able to finish my challenge and go from that to here, and I would have found a end city with a ship. Now I think what I might do is, before looting this, I'm just going to go across there. Oh, surely not. Wow, we've actually... What? See, patience. Patience is a virtue. Look at that luck. Wow. That is a really, really lucky spawn of cities. That one's huge as well. So, let's pop across here, go down, and visually see the fact that we do have an elytra in here. Just like that. Wow, that's a good amount of diamonds as well. None of those are really worth gathering. And I think I've made my point. I think I've shown off what I need to for the episode. I think I've actually gotten fairly lucky. Oh, it's lagging. I just realized, of course, because I'm still on high render distance. Put that down to 20. That's a healthy medium. But yeah, with cities in sight and plenty of shulkers to kill, I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to take quite a few hours, I'd say. I want to make sure that I do get myself, wow, how much do I want? Possibly nearly 4 stacks worth of shulker shells so that I have 128 shulker boxes to make. If I can get more without getting too worn out, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to try and get as many as I can so that I don't necessarily have to come back out here for a long time and I can continue filming in the overworld. I'm going to put up the little piece of footage right now of me just moving the end crystal from the island, from the central island when I was getting that immortal crystal. And while that's running, I would like to say thank you very much to my level 3 Patreon Tom. I really appreciate the support. If you guys would like to support me and help me continue to grow this channel and continue to put out these videos, then head on over to my Patreon if you can afford it. There's honestly no pressure. It's just there for people who can and if they want to. Otherwise, I'm more than happy with you guys watching. I really do appreciate those who like and comment. It means a lot, and I love seeing that you guys are enjoying this series. So with that being said, I am going to end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed. I know this one was another long one. I hope that's okay. And I'll see you in the next episode with hopefully a really decent supply of shulker shells and maybe some nice loot as well. So until that episode, and until next time, I hope you're taking care of yourselves, guys. I really do. I am taking care of myself, hopefully getting some answers soon about what's got me fatigued. But with all that said, there's no more time. It's time to finish up the episode. Take care as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.